As a continuation to the exercise that we started in part 2 with Active Directory, we're going to continue. But this time around, our interest is to delete an organizational unit which is not found in the hierarchy. Currently, looking at this hierarchy and the organizational units, we find that the research and development organizational units is one of those organizational units that is missing from the hierarchy, and we have to delete this. To delete this, we can attempt to right click and choose delete, and then we can validate, and then we hit the the wall because we do not have the correct privileges to delete this. We need to uncheck the setting that protects this from deletion. Okay, for us to do this, we're going to go to view, and then we would go to filter options, view, and then advanced features actually. So we'll go to advanced features, click THM. Now we'll be able to select research and development, right click, and then we can look up its properties. Once we select properties, we can click on object, and then we can uncheck protect object from accidental deletion. We can apply this, and then we validate. And then this time around, we can right click and try to delete again. And then we can accept. And this time around, we are able to delete this. Now it's gone. The first part of the responsibility that was ours is done. So how did we even get to this window? We just clicked on the icon of Active Directory users and computers here, and it brought this up for us. So in the start, this is where we were, like that. Our next responsibility is the following. We want Philip, who is in the IT department, to be able to reset passwords for any user that's in the sales department. This can be done using Active Directory's delegation functionality. So we select sales, we right click, and then we choose delegate control, and then we do next. Once we get here, our responsibility is to select users. Okay, so we're going to add the user Philip, and we need to type it correctly, Philip. And then we will check names, and we find that we have Philip at TryHackMe.local. Okay, we validate okay, and then we do next, and then we want to check reset user passwords and force password change at next logon, and then we'll do next, and then finish. And that part of the job is done. Our next responsibility is the following. We want to use Philip's account to try and reset Sophie's password. Philip's credentials are given to us, and this will be done using remote desktop, like that. So for that, we can use the search bar and type remote desktop, and then we can select the remote desktop connection bit. This is where we will do the addition of the username and password. So we need to show other options That way we would add the username here. But we need the computer name. Okay, how do we get the computer name? The computer name is the name of this current computer. So we're gonna go here and just do remote remote desktop, and then we'll go to the settings for remote desktop, and then we would look at this is the name that we are looking for. The piece, use this PC name, so we're copying this name. We can minimize this and we'll plug it in here. Once we plug it in here correctly, we'll now be able to put in the username. The username for in on Active Directory, usernames will always start with the domain, which is thm / then the appropriate username now, which is Philip, and then we can do connect. Once we get this remote desktop connection pop up, all we need to do is we need to say yes. Once we say yes, we'll now be provided with the other user login prompt where we can actually put Philip's password. That's Claire 2008. You want to be sure that you typed it correctly. I'm going to show you because you already have it displayed here anyway. So Claire 2008 correctly put. And now I'm logging in. What just happened here? I was on a different computer and I have just used remote desktop, and I am now logged in thanks to Active Directory to another computer within the same domain. From this computer within the same domain, I am now able to do the password reset. Now we're going to use PowerShell within this computer to reset, because Philip is in IT. And so Philip has been, by delegation, given powers to be able to reset credentials for Sophie's computer. So we're going to use PowerShell within Philip's computer to attempt to reset the password of Sophie. Okay, so we'll go for PowerShell. We'll pull this up. And we're going to come here and neatly copy this command. So we copy this and we're going to paste it over here, and we'll press enter. Now it is asking for the new password, and we're going to try to put a password. So I'm putting a new password. It took me quite a while to figure out such a strong password, but I'm happy that I got one at last. Okay, that works. Now, this bit is done. Next, we don't want Sophie to keep using the password that we just set. Okay, so we're going to force her to change the password on login. So I'm going to copy this command to help me do that up to this point. So take copy, and then I will drop it here. And now we're good to go. Now that we're good to go, all we need to do is we need to log in to Sophie's password, to Sophie's account using remote desktop this time around, and use the username Sophie But this time around, we would try a different password, because when we would try to log in, it would ask us to, change the password since we did the configuration right. So before we get this done, I'm going to just close the PowerShell. Now PowerShell is closed, and I'm going to close the remote desktop, and now I'm disconnected. This time around, I will try to connect again to remote desktop. Show options. And this time around, I'm going to use Sophie's credentials. And then I'm going to try to log in. Now I will put the password that I created for Sophie. Now we entered it, and you see it's rightly asking us to change our password before signing in. This is what we had specified. So we're going to accept to do this. We want to create this new password for Sophie. So we're going to create this new password. And we will confirm. We hope it matches. And the password is successfully changed. Now we are trying to log in. And finally, we are logged in. And there is our nice flag on the desktop. Copy this, and then we can drop it in here nicely. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.